What's up guys, I am ExxotikGaming and today I am back with another Pixelgun 3D video. And today's video is another weapon review, this time on a very interesting weapon called the Toy Bomber in the Premium section, introduced into the most recent 10.4.1 updates. Now before I jump into the Toy Bomber review, if you guys want to see me to continue on reviewing all of the rest of the weapons in this most recent update, make sure to leave a like and comment down below which weapon you would like to see me review next. Because, like I always say, whatever weapon gets the most amount of comments in the comment section to this video will be the weapon that we review next. So with that being said, let's jump right into today's review. Now, the Toy Bomber is one of those weapons which you can consider as a hardcore spamming area damage type weapon. Two of the other weapons that are pretty similar to this are the Mines Launcher and the Kaboom. Now you have probably seen both of those weapons work in one way or another, so the gameplay that you will get with the Toy Bomber is very similar to those two. But there are some key differences and we will point those out later. The stats of the weapon are listed as following: a 24 efficiency, an 84 firing rate, an 8 capacity, and a 120 mobility. Now, you may seem that an 8 capacity isn't really too much for an area damage weapon, especially a spamming area damage type weapon, but the truth is with an 84 firing rate, it doesn't have the fastest firing rates in the world, and you don't really have to worry about reloading that much when using this weapon. So with that being said guys, let's jump right into a match. Now, there are certain features within this weapon which will prove the gameplay to be very different than a lot of the other weapons in Pixelgun 3D, and it would assume that this weapon is very similar to weapons like the Mines Launcher and the Kaboom, but in all honesty, it is very, very different. Now, there are certain features that this weapon has which do cause the gameplay to be very different. It's not like this weapon is just completely different all out of the ordinary. It's the special features that make this weapon very, very different. Now, the first special feature that I would like to talk about that this weapon has is the ricocheting special feature. The ricocheting special feature basically says that this weapon can have its little grenades bounce off of a number of walls before it eventually explodes. Kind of like some of the other weapons in Pixelgun 3D, like most notably weapons like the Alien Blaster, the Laser Bouncer, and the Laser Bow. With the Alien Blaster and weapons like this, it can bounce off of multiple different walls before finally the laser dissipates. That's the same with this weapon. It can bounce off of multiple different walls before the explosive finally detonates. This is a timed detonation, unlike the contact detonation that a weapon like the Kaboom would have. The Kaboom is a weapon where, when you do fire the explosive onto the ground, it will stay there regardless how long ago you fired the weapon until somebody does walk over the little rockets. With this weapon, however, it does have a timed explosive, and eventually it will explode regardless the fact somebody was there or not. Now, the main feature with this weapon is its ricocheting ability, and I said that before. Now, the ricocheting ability with this weapon isn't really what you would originally assume compared to some of the other weapons that have the ricocheting ability in Pixelgun 3D. You have seen the other weapons with the ricocheting ability and they almost instantly take out pretty much everybody that they encounter. However, this weapon does have a second special ability, and the second special ability is the looping shot ability. And I wouldn't even consider that a special ability because it does really limit the power of the ricocheting ability that this weapon has. The looping shot basically means that this is one of those weapons where, after you fire it, it doesn't travel horizontally across the entire length of the match until it hits a wall. It will have an arc downwards towards the ground and eventually end up rolling across the ground until it hits somebody. Now, there are certain weapons in Pixelgun 3D that are like this. This isn't the only one which does have the looping shots. A lot of the other ones do have it. Weapons like the Firestorm, the Cherry Bomb, and numerous other weapons do have that. However, this is not going to be that great of a weapon for a medium-range map. Because that looping shot exists, this is a weapon where, at medium to long range, you will have to fire well above the enemy player's crosshairs to actually hit them at a decent range. So keep that in mind. This is a weapon which will only be good at close range in a map like Silent School or Coliseum. Now, this is a weapon which will probably be very different than the Kaboom in the fact that the gameplay and maps that you will be in will be better for different weapons. I honestly feel like the Kaboom is a weapon which is better for a map like Coliseum, where it is extremely short range and pretty much everybody walks across every single surface possible in that map. With the Kaboom, when you do fire the weapon, it does have the explosives stay on the ground, so you would figure if you just start spamming the firing button with the Kaboom in a map like Coliseum, and you have your explosives all over the place in that map, you are bound to get a pretty decent amount of kills, because people can't really avoid the explosive that much. However, in a map like Silent School, even though it is a close-range map, it is a lot bigger, and that means that people can easily avoid the little grenades that you are firing, and the Kaboom will be less effective. With this weapon, however, if the second the weapon hits somebody, it will explode, and I honestly feel like this is a weapon better for a map that is a little bit longer range and has less people. So, really, in all honesty, you can decide between the Kaboom and the Toy Bomb. I would not recommend having both at the same time. However, the gameplay that you will get with those weapons are going to be very different. Now, I do have to say, this weapon looks very cool in my personal opinion. I think it looks like one of the better weapons in Pixel Gun 3D. I'm not entirely sure if somebody actually did design it, but it does look very cool. It looks very complicated and complex. Looks like a very futuristic weapon in my personal opinion, but it's a pretty cool looking weapon. But the gameplay does say otherwise. I honestly have to say, out of the 3 area damage weapons introduced into this most recent update, this is the least powerful one out of the 3, and the one that you will least likely win matches when using. Now, it's all based off of opinion, really, depending on which one you would like, this one or the Kaboom. In all honesty, considering the maps that I go into more often, I would recommend the Toy Bomber because I feel like a lot more people go into Silent School a lot more regularly, so it will probably be a lot more useful of a weapon than the Kaboom. Now, like I said at the beginning, this will be a spamming weapon. However, it's not going to be as much of a spamming weapon as one would think. Considering this weapon does have only an 84 firing rate, it is pretty difficult to hold down the firing button and pretty much spam the weapon because it doesn't really fire that fast. And considering this weapon only has an 8 capacity, if you do hold down the firing button for a long time, you're bound to end up reloading a lot, and the enemy player will end up being able to kill you pretty easily when that reload time comes. So when using this weapon, even though you can avoid having to reload a lot by just carefully firing only when you know you can hit the person, you can end up dying a lot because people will kill you when reloading. And this is not one of those weapons where you're going to get a monster kill every single time you are in a match. You're lucky to get a triple kill when using this weapon because a lot of the times people will kill you when you are reloading. However, it is a very powerful weapon, and I believe it's a 3 to a 4 shot to a max armored player, which is pretty good. I mean, as you guys can see, you have no difficulty at all taking these people out. It has a very cool looking reload animation, reloading those little red grenades into the weapon, and I guess you could probably say they're toys, however they do explode, so I'll just say grenade for to make it a little bit easier for us, and it's a pretty decent weapon. If I was to rate this weapon from like 1 to 10, I'd probably give this weapon somewhere around a 7. I'd give the Kaboom a very similar rating to this, and the Mines Launcher would probably be like a 6.5 to a 7 because it is slightly less powerful compared to both the Kaboom and the Toy Bomber. Now, it doesn't mean that this weapon is bad considering I gave it a 7 rating. I mean, as you guys can see, I'm killing people without any problem whatsoever. However, people do have a pretty big advantage when they do have some of the other weapons in Pixel Gun 3D. A lot of the other area damage weapons are a lot better than this weapon, so if you do encounter somebody who has weapons like the Big Buddy, or some of the other weapons in this game, like maybe the Dark Matter Generator, a major spamming weapon, they can easily take you out because they can take you out faster than you would be able to with the Toy Bomber. But you can get a pretty decent amount of kills in a decent amount of time, guys. You're probably not going to win matches all the time when using this, but you can get into the top 3 if you are careful and you only shoot when appropriate times to fire the weapon, and it's a overall pretty decent weapon. However, those special abilities, though, do limit the power of the weapon greatly. In all honesty, if this weapon did not have if it maybe had the contact detonation special ability, I would probably say this weapon is a lot better than the Kaboom UP2, just because it does have the ricocheting ability. However, it is very difficult to determine between the two which one is better. Like I said before, I mentioned in which situation which weapon is better. And in all honesty, if you want an entire comparison video between the two, where I go super in depth between the two weapons, I can always do a comparison video sometime in the future and show you guys really which weapon is better for which situation. But I did a pretty general summary for you guys in this video, and hopefully that was enough to really explain in which situation which weapon is best. I really like the Toy Bomber though, guys. Certainly not my most favorite weapon in this most recent update, because there are a lot of very cool weapons in this most recent update. But if I could just look at every single weapon as a whole in Pixel Gun 3D, it is a pretty decent weapon, and I really do like it. Out of the 3 weapons that are released in the most recent premium update to this game, I would probably have to say this is my least favorite out of the 3 premiums. I have to say, for sure, the Fireball spell is my most favorite, and then the other one, the Loud Piggy, was my second most favorite, and then this one is my last favorite. But I do like it. All of the weapons introduced into this most recent update are very cool, and do have to give really some props for the very cool update weapons that they did release. So with that being said, guys, I don't honestly have much else I need to say about this very cool Toy Bomber UP2. I apologize if the gameplay was not extremely up to par. I am holding my phone very differently than normal, and that is the reason why I would like to spend the next couple of minutes just explaining why I did not upload any videos over the past couple of days. On Monday, I had powerlifting practice, as I do every Monday. I have it Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and I was practicing deadlifts. And I saw from the moment that practice began that something bad was going to happen, because you have to use chalk when you are doing deadlifts. Chalk helps you grip the bar a lot better. However, we were using the last of the chalk that we had, and then we ran out, and I still had one more set I needed to do. I was going to attempt 505 pounds by 3. And there was absolutely no chalk whatsoever, so I just had my bare hands, and I just went for it and attempted it, and unfortunately, on the second rep out of the 3 that I was planning on doing, the weight slipped out of my hands, the bars cut up my entire hand, and I was bleeding all over the place. It looked pretty bad, and my hand hurt so much to the point where I couldn't even hold my phone, let alone record a Pixel Gun video. It was really hard. I had mentioned it on my Twitter, guys, so I definitely recommend following my social media so you guys can actually get updates on when I am uploading and when I'm not uploading, so just keep that in mind. And that was basically what happened, guys. It was a pretty rough couple of days. I am healed now to the point where I can record a video, and hopefully the gameplay was alright, guys. Please let me know in the comments if it was decent enough for the way that I was holding it. If I can basically explain how I am holding this, I am holding my phone. My right hand is the one that I hurt. So I'm holding my left hand with the phone as normal, but with my right hand, I'm basically holding it with my fingertips because it was the direct center of the hand that I hurt. So yeah, guys, I really apologize for the gameplay not being up to par with this weapon. Hopefully over the next couple of days, I'm going to heal a lot better and the gameplay will get right back up to par. I will for sure do another video with the Toy Bomber, considering I did not get the best possible gameplay in this video. I want to show you guys some really good gameplay with this weapon, considering it is a very good weapon in Pixel Gun 3D. But I think I got a decent amount of gameplay, decent amount of kills, and I'm overall happy with this video. Hopefully, the review was decent enough in and of itself. So with that being said, guys, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like. It would really mean a lot if you guys did. And like I said at the beginning of the video, a like would determine the future of this series. Obviously not the future of the series in general, but the future of the next couple of videos. I can either do some different videos completely, or I can continue on with reviewing the weapons in this most recent update. I really like reviewing the weapons in this most recent update, and I know a lot of you guys do like watching my reviews as well, because you like to see an in-depth analysis of each of the weapons introduced in the most recent updates. And not entirely sure when the next update is going to be released, but I'm imagining pretty soon, and most likely I'm not going to finish it in time, so I'm going to try to review as many as I can so I don't get backed up too much with the weapon reviews. Like I always say, I'm going to be reviewing every single weapon in this game, so if I do finish reviewing all of the weapons in this most recent update, I will eventually move over to the past updates and then the updates before that, so I can get everything reviewed and completed. So make sure to go check out my other weapon review, guys. It would be really appreciative if you guys did. I have like 130 weapon reviews or some ridiculous amount like that, and they are all as equally awesome, while I actually think a lot of them are a lot better than this one, especially the most recent ones that I have done. I did a fireball spell review, and I did a laser bow review. Both of them were absolutely awesome. In the laser bow review especially, I had gotten an instant triple kill with one single shot. In the second I began a match, so it was absolutely awesome and turned out to be one of my best gameplays in a review ever. So be sure to go check that out. Make sure to go check out the Kaboom UP2 review that I did. I'll have a link down below in the description so you guys can check it out, because you guys can see a comparison between these two weapons and see which weapon is better for which scenario. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode.